and welcome back to another episode of Our Perspectives, which we didn't think would be happening this week, but it is. So here we
We're
are.
here.
Super exciting stuff. As you know, we like to start this off giving you a little update of the week before we get into talking about the news that just happened over the last week. That's what we do here. My name's Holden Stephan Roy. Joining me and sharing this across the socials is Littyyy Bro Flacko, and this is our perspectives, whereas our main show, the perspectives, the interview series we run, which you can find on this channel, is more about the perspectives of our guests and learning from their stories and hearing what they have to say about things. Of which our latest episode featuring Agallah Bishop has dropped, and it came out yesterday, so it's fresh, it's out there, and it is packed with crazy insight that honestly, if you're an independent artist or you have any interest in the history of hip hop and want to understand how things really work, not just like what you read online, but from the perspectives of somebody who was there, this guy covered so much content in the time he shared with us that like is truly blessings, and you should definitely check out that episode. Link it, well, it's on the channel. And then yeah, so with that, that was like the biggest update for us. I'm back this week because, well, I didn't end up starting my job. It turns out so and so was out of office and so had to do an approval. And when you work for big bureaucracies, which I'll be honest, I forgot about, things take time. Like you get approved, but then when it actually happens is when they're able to make it happen. Because if so and so is too busy for such and such a thing, your email don't get no sense, and the next thing you know, you find out you start work on Tuesday, which I only found out an hour before we started the stream. So got myself a little official start day. So this will be our last Friday that we're doing this, and we'll have our new date figured out whenever we get the new date figured out. And yeah, so yeah, with that,
Thank you for
uh,
being patient with us, folks.
facts. But yeah, I guess for the week update, I went to a party with Bonnie last Saturday, and then I got sick, and I basically spent the week feeling sick and sleeping more than I wanted to, and I don't know. Like if it was like a year ago, I would have done a COVID test, but we're past COVID, so nobody's doing a COVID test no more.
I'm so happy to hear you say that.
It's just what it is. Like dead ass though, it felt
You
like
were
when I got.
worry wording the whole COVID. You were worry wording the whole COVID. You know what though? Let me not say that either, because then I could sound like one of these fucking like COVID. The vaccine is gonna change my DNA nutbags, and
No,
it's like
but like
the
I
world is
just
so extreme nowadays that like a person like me who's rational and can go either side of the fence, I guess a fence rider, some people would call it. Well, I just call it being fucking logical and being able to be like, yes, sometimes the conservatives make sense, sometimes liberals make sense, a majority of the time neither makes sense. Most people can't do that. And so I do that, and so yeah, like I'm not one of those nutbags, but I also did not want to be like people like you who are worry warding too much during COVID.
I mean, I just looked at
You
it
were
like
taking a test for every cough, bro.
no, I was not. I took two COVID tests the whole time. But like I did get COVID twice. So like we definitely had it on two occasions. Both of them were related to going to rap shows. Like I rapped and then I got COVID. So if you were a statistical manipulator, you'd be putting a causation thing over here that rapping got you COVID. No,
Like rapping got COVID.
but yeah. Then like the rest of the week was just kind of meh because I felt like ass and I was slowly trying to get through work. And then yesterday, I got a call like last week. Yo, get these two guys to open for Snack the Ripper. So I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to the Snack the Ripper show. So I did, and I didn't want to pay, so I pulled up at 5:30 at soundcheck, like I was supposed to be there. And then the next thing you know, I became the host and stage manager of the night. And that's what I did yesterday. And ended up going quite later than I thought. And yo, Snack the Ripper is like that guy performs. Like he got a whole band up and performed his fucking heart out. Like they did a real last 45-minute sound check. Like it was like yo, you're operating at a higher level of professionalism than I'm used to encountering in this music scene, so to speak. And I just wanted to give a kudos. Like he really like crushed that shit. Like they did an hour and a half set. Like it was like well worth the. I think it was $30 that was for the tickets.
Work,
And then yeah, now we're here today.
work.
How was your week?
Good man. Had a great weekend. I went to Wild Things. Went to some event in the Bronx. Rubbed elbows with more people that I had met at the Bronx Ball. So just cementing the networking, which is something that doesn't often get done, right? Like you network and you meet people and they're like, okay, and that's it. And there's no following up to the networking. And I'm making sure that I follow up the networking. So just rubbing elbows with Bronx businesses all over and Bronx business owners and yeah, trying to get in good so that next year when I meet the Bronx Borough Mayor again, Bronx Borough President again, uh, it's more, you know what I mean? Like, oh, the person that I've been hearing about and met last year
Right.
is in front of me again, right? So,
Elevating.
yeah, elevating more money, more business for my company. That's it, really. Try to help more people from my background have careers, work.
What's it?
But yeah, had a great weekend. Busy. I just been busy as fuck, man. I have not been able to get to breathe. Today we're even like an hour and 15 minutes late because I had a meeting that was going over that you got to sit in on for like the last 5, 10 minutes.
Yep. I have a fit.
Um,
It just
which sucks because like I'd love to like dissect what you heard on your end and what you thought of what you heard, but we got to get the show done. This is not what the
facts.
show is about, and
That's
also you
facts.
got to go after the show because you
That's
got shit
true.
to do too. I got
That's
a meeting
facts.
to get to right after you, as you heard, right? Like
Yeah.
so, I'm going from this meeting. I'm going from a 2 hour meeting to this 2 hour show to another 2 hour meeting, and this is my life. Um, and this has been my
Yeah.
life all week. I mean,
I
this is my life all the time, period. But it's
that's kind
definitely
of
the
what
golden
happens when
side.
you elevate. You elevate and you just spend more time on calls, having more conversations with more people, and then you have to develop rapport, which takes
Yep.
more time because your calls can't just be like purely whatever. Now it's got to be a little bit of personality and shit. Anyway, it's a whole game. It's
Yeah,
fun, but it's also
yeah.
exhausting.
Exhausting. But yeah, the Agallah interview is out.
Super good
Uh,
interview.
Super good interview. Um, uh, Another interviewee from that same batch of interviews that we interviewed was Shellyne Rodriguez.
Yeah.
And, she's fighting for her life right now against the conservatives that are trying to sacrifice her to the conservative gods for abortion. She's become like the like this woman is giving abortions out all over the world. She's
But
aborting children. She's the face of abortions and whatever. We're gonna these articles. I'm gonna give you. You got the links. We're gonna make sure
yeah,
that these links are actually in
yeah,
the
we're gonna put that
description
in
of
because
this
I apparently
video.
need an account for this.
We haven't been doing. Yeah, you could get out of that one. Go to the next link. The students showing support.
I mean, just to give a little summary though, like she's at Hunter's College. There was an anti-abortion table set up. She knocked over the display. This got caught on camera. They put the harshest pink text bubbles I've ever seen in my life on the
This is
video.
the thing
Um,
that you're not mentioning, right? That a lot of people aren't aware of, which is like little things that have been coming out in the last week. That's what happened initially, and people were going crazy. There's no like, oh, there's no, oh, the lady that is in charge of Hunter College, her husband works for Fox News. Um, uh, and her husband works for Fox News and another company. The other company that he works for and with or owns, I'm not sure exactly what the context is. Um, works hand in hand with that abortion
Right.
table. It's almost as if, though, the person in charge of Hunter College is aware of what Shellyne had been doing in the past few years in protesting against uh, injustice done by the NYPD, and on board with right wing ideologies, and her husband and Fox News Media started plotting and scheming against Shellyne. Um, this is me adding context that's not actually cemented, but the truth is, you heard the lady that runs Hunter College. Her husband does work at Fox.
Right.
He
Fair.
also works at another company. Everything else from there, right, uh, in the air. But he definitely does work for Fox.
Right.
And so you're a woman who is married to a Fox person who now Fox is coming after her along with all these other right wing news media publications. She loses her job at Hunter. You know, go through these,
Well, she
scroll,
lost
start
her
scroll
job over the machete incident because a
the
reporter
mistake.
snuck into the building, and then like he unannounced pulled up at her door, so she responded. This was caught on
I
camera.
usually I usually have a problem with your wording, Holden, and I feel like you lack proper verbiage. You just hit the nail on the head. This is a good example of you actually using the perfect verbiage.
I was
The
trying to be
the
careful.
news reporter the news reporter broke into her building because in order to get into the building that you went and interviewed her at, right? You know that you had to press a button to get into the building. If you
Yeah.
didn't press that button, and you didn't get invited into the building by pressing the button and making yourself known, you're breaking and entering essentially. It's not in New York City, that's not considered breaking and entering because there's so many laws in New York that really kind of toe the line that in other places, in other cities and states and countries all around the world where white people live, there's videos that we've seen online of a white woman questioning a black man for entering his building that he lives in, following him all the way to his door to assure that he actually lives in the building. So, like in other places all around the country, you can't just enter a fucking building willy nilly and think you could just fucking go
Right.
knock on somebody's door. White people would have a fit in the other way around, right? But because it's Shellyne Rodriguez, she's a woman of color, LGBTQ, and she's gained the ire of the right wing media and conservatives. That has not been brought up anywhere at all. That reporter was trespassing when he knocked on her door. He entered that building without pressing the button and without getting her permission to
And
come to her door. And he showed up at her door on top of that, right, with the camera and with Mike. And it's just like, bro, let me tell you something. If somebody ever were to like get it ready, right? Hot take coming in right now. Let me tell you something. If you don't like me and you want smoke with me, feel free to show up at my door. Because believe me, I will not even put a machete to your neck. I'm going to shoot you. I'm going to shoot you. You will either die or go to the hospital to tend to a wound. But you're getting fucking shot. Okay? So like it's one of those things where like, yo, know what you and by shot I mean I don't have a gun because guns are illegal in New York City, but I will shoot you with my fist. But the point is that I'm really trying to get to, the point I'm really trying to get to, right, is that like it's not the way to go about things. And that reporter was totally out of line. And
no,
so
super
like
facts. I mean, like, and just to like add to it, the way it then gets framed before the media pile on, and every single just comment on verbiage, every single reporting from the right has been veteran New York Post reporter, as though this is an implied and accepted tactic, as though the way he approached it is what you're supposed to do. And I'm still going, hold on, wait a second. If somebody showed up at my door unannounced, I don't know who they were, and they're asking questions in the middle of like she'd been doxxed at this point. There's other things that are happening in her life. Like, yo, you on edge. It's like, anyway, I just empathize with that. Anyway, that's to catch you up to where we're at
this
with this slides.
everything that we've said prior to this is facts mixed with opinions.
It's
You
we're
are
gonna
all
just
we expect We expect our audience to be as intelligent as the general audience for news and everything else in the world, which is to be able to discern what we told you that was facts and what we told you that was opinions, right?
We're
You
just
can
gonna
tell
go
what
with
our
the
opinions,
yeah the
but now
facts.
we're just gonna hit you with the facts, right? We're gonna post the first link that we couldn't read off to you here
That'll be in
in
the
the description for
description.
this video. Holden is gonna start going through these pictures on Instagram for
Let
the
me zoom in.
students, right? Like let's first read there are several Hunter MFASO. Um Go back to
There's
the first picture. The
support. This is
the
the first
support
picture.
of Hunter College. So these are the students at Hunter College, the students, right? Which is who is most important at a school, not right the dean, not the principal, not the person who's making more money than anybody at that school should be making, right? The students, that's the most important people at the
Right.
school, right? Because that's who our future is based off of. That's who we care about. And students on Shellyne's side, right? So like they put this out and they said in the next tab, they said, as many of you know, Professor Shellyne Rodriguez has been under a ton of backlash for confronting an anti abortion group on the main campus. Professor Rodriguez lost her job at Hunter as well as SVA, making her fully unemployed. Professor Rodriguez has expressed to current MFA and MA students that she wants support and solidarity. If you would like to show solidarity, some ways to do this are to send Shellyne money, spread awareness, and sign the petition. Links in caption below. Also, we can all continue to educate ourselves on reproductive rights and Shellyne Rodriguez's situation. So, you know, they're that's a
Like
amazingly great way to stand by Shellyne while being politically correct. I applaud the students for doing that. Um,
I think it's also cool that they put it out there. Like when I told Bonnie about the situation, her first thought was, "Good, I'm with her. Like she did the right
yes,
thing."
she
And
did do
it's
the right.
like, while you're not maybe the media, the left didn't pick up on this like a hot story. I think that what she did is fire in terms of my personal beliefs, and like I completely stand by it because you know why dudes be telling
Yeah,
women how to live
we
life like that? It's
we
weird
talked
shit.
about it last week when we talked about our Times Square segment and speaking with a young lady who talked about how we didn't actually give up divulge all the things about it, but let's suffice it to say that both me and Holden are definitely on the side of women being able to have all of the options for their reproductive rights, and nobody should be telling a woman what to do with their body. Nobody has the right to stop a woman from being able to have an abortion. And anybody who all this thing that the conservatives do with trying to, oh, you're killing babies, that is irrelevant. What is relevant is that this is a medical procedure that should be available if a person wants to have it, period, point blank. That's it.
Facts.
It is not nothing to debate. Go debate your mother about whether or not men should be able to snip their balls, because you're not doing that, right? Like you're not standing in front of a clinic telling men to stop snipping their balls from being able to have children. You know, there's all sorts of things that they don't stand on. It's bullshit at the end of the day. And the truth is that like the way that the conservatives and the right wing nutbag alt right have been going after, there are women right now in Texas that can't have an abortion and have to travel out of state in order to go have an abortion and are putting themselves in dire financial situations because they can't get a basic medical procedure in their own state because of the nutbags, literal nutbags. You have to be a nutbag in order to say, I don't want there to be availability for a medical procedure in my state because of the fairy god that I believe in up in the sky. You know what I mean? Like that is just too much.
Honest.
That's what America was built on. fleeing religious persecution, just for these people to turn this country into a religious persecution country. Insane.
It's the weirdest shit because it's not even like it's effective. Like, everybody knows that the women that can't leave the state, yo, they're gonna end up doing shit like falling down the stairs and like all the, because yo, there's book after book after book
After
about what the fuck
horrible,
these people
horrible,
do since
horrible.
time before abortions were legal and available. And it's just a, it's like you have to not care about women or health, like their
Yeah, you
health.
have to not care
Like,
about
you
women
really
and
have to
mental
not
health.
care because, yo, it was all about
That's what these
reputations
people.
back in the day. Fuck a woman's health, the family's reputation's at line. So I guess if that's your priority, that's what it is. But
That,
personally, I'm
yeah,
just like, nah, that makes no
that's
sense to
that's
me.
not my priority. My family name doesn't matter to me before a woman's reproductive rights. And all sorts of points get brought up all the time. Like, like the fact that if these people actually cared about babies as much as they say that they do, then they would care about the education system in disenfranchised neighborhoods being what it is. They would care about helping mothers who do have children who are in disenfranchised neighborhoods getting finance. You can put your money to all sorts of places. Focus on the babies that are being born and aren't being given the right opportunities. Focus on the babies, but that's not what they care about. They just care about policing people's human rights.
I
Listen,
just
I don't
care
want to
about
spend so much
politics.
more time on this. Because I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to embarrass Shellyne, and I'm very passionate about this, and I can
Right,
get very angry, and I don't want to get too angry and make her look bad
right,
by
right, right.
saying the wrong thing. So let's move on. We're going to include all. Please don't take offense to my stance. If you're pro life, go fuck yourself. But all the other logical people definitely check the video and the description and please hit the GoFundMe and support Shellyne and let's show the right that we can do the same thing that they do. Because when they kill our people wholesale, they then go give millions of dollars to George Zimmerman so that he can just live his life and give speeches about being the guy that murdered a young black youth, right? And just talk about being an awesome guy that kills black people. Yeah. And that's what those psychopaths do, these sociopaths. They then when that happens, they fund those people and they put money in those people's pockets into the millions of dollars. We don't even want that. Shellyne just needs her salary. So let's show up and let's put some money in her pocket and make sure that she's able to survive so that she can get to the next opportunity in her life, which I'm sure she will because she's
Right.
an incredible human being with a wealth of knowledge, which you will all be able to learn from when her interview drops in a couple months when we release it.
Big
And I'll
blessings in
let
that
my
one. Yeah. So next up is the box office numbers.
the weekend box office numbers for last week. Guardians of the Galaxy doing 300. It did 20 million last week. It brought it to a total of 300 million. Yo, Sarah Connor in the comments shouts to her, happy birthday, Sarah Connor.
Happy birthday,
You
Sarah
should not be
Connor.
in the comments. Go enjoy your trip in Vegas, mama. We love you very
Are
much.
you really watching us on your trip in Vegas?
I love you very much. She's not. She's probably like got us on in the background, but we love you. We love you so much. I love you. Look, I'm saying we. I'm not speaking for Holden. Holden, I mean, he can speak for himself. I mean, we in the sense of me and the wife, me and the family. You know what it is. You know the team and your brothers who are really your brothers. We're not talking about other people. We all love you. Happy birthday. Many, many more level ups. I was gonna do this actually later on in the show. Because her song is gonna be the song that plays. She
Mm.
dropped a new song today.
I'll
Sarah
say
Connor dropped a new
what?
song today. Feel free to go look it up. I'm gonna plug it later on in the show. It's the song that I'm playing for my song. It's a fantastic song. Uh, I'll get into it more later.
Facts.
This week's box office numbers: Guardians of the Galaxy did 20 million,
And
bringing his
Sarah's
total.
responding and saying she loves us, and then she's getting dressed
There we
Well,
go.
we're on the speaker,
Yeah,
so we just there.
she's not watching us.
Appreciate
She
you.
got us in the background while she getting ready or on her way somewhere. That's what I figured. That she was on her way somewhere. Guardians of the Galaxy 20 million brings it to a total of 300 million. Little Mermaid 90 million opening weekend goes to show you that whatever Disney's doing, it's working. Fast 10 23 million, bringing it to a total of 107 million, proving that people love shitty movies. Super Mario.
I mean, do they love shitty movies or do they like franchise familiarity? It's not that
It,
different than Marvel.
no, it's very different than Marvel. Marvel has done a painstakingly great job at making sure that the writing isn't absurd. Fast 10 is literally about like a movie that went from racing to like a guy becoming a superhero that like can jump a car from building to building, is in space with vehicles, does things that it's absurd. It's nowhere near the same thing. Marvel is, yo, this started as fiction. It was never based in reality. This started off of
Right. Fast and the
fictional
Furious
books.
1 was very grounded.
It was, and then we ended up in a very not grounded way. And Michelle Rodriguez is an absurd human being who's low key racist. She's one of those Latinas that is the embarrassment of being Latino to me. That like doesn't understand. That clearly does has never had any black friends to have any like serious black relationships to understand like anything. And she said some absurd thing about like, oh, the last thing we need is more Marvel movies. And it's like, what? What? Whoa! Like, how dare you attack something when you're part of the shittiest
It's,
franchise in movie making, in recent movie making history? Like, literally the shittiest franchise, the worst writing, absurdity that, like, none of those people are ever going to win Oscars. And on the other hand, Marvel will eventually win an Oscar. And Marvel, it's way different, totally different worlds. You're absurd, Holden. Super Mario, second highest grossing animated movie of all time, behind Frozen with $600 million. This past weekend, it brought in
did you see
another, I
it?
think, 20. I still haven't seen it. I really don't give a fuck about video game shit like that.
That's fair.
Uh,
I'm looking for
yo,
that. I'm gonna watch it.
yeah, I mean, I'll eventually watch it. I just don't really. It's not like high on my to-do list. Same as the Air movie. I actually ended up watching the Air movie, and like then I was talking about it with my like basketball friends that are huge Jordan fans, and they were like, I was like, "Have you watched it?" And they were like, "No," and I was like, "Yeah, I mean, don't watch it. I don't give a fuck. It's not like that great. You know what I mean? Like you're not missing it that much. Like it's not like I'm telling people go watch it. I just watched it because you know what? Why not? I had some time to kill. Me and the wife were looking for something to watch, and we turned on Air. But that's exactly the same energy I would treat Super Mario with. Like I'll watch it eventually, but when I'm done watching it, I'm not gonna be like recommending it. It's not gonna be like the trailers that we air on this show. It's not gonna be like Marvel shit. I have more than proven my taste with movies with the trailers alone. And I'm pretty sure when we make a year with this show and that Tiana Taylor movie or one of the money movies that I've plugged in the trailers gets nominated for an Oscar, I'll have proven like my taste versus like the general taste that like people have. My taste is just ridiculously better than most people. Into the Spider Verse is premiering. It came out Thursday. It's already projected to have $150 million weekend. Um, Into the Spider Verse, I expect to end up being in the top five animated movies of all time. The first one is in the top five already. I'm pretty sure that the second one will also end up in the top five. Sarah's laughing with tears emoji because she knows what time it is. I'm everything snob. If I do it, I bet you that I do it better than you. And like dressing, fucking music taste, music making, fucking movie taste, like food taste, like I'm
Yo,
probably better
we
than
gotta. This should
you.
be a whole
It's
merch drop. I'm a fucking snob. That's a merch drop. Cause you gonna say that a lot.
a fact though. I mean, but listen, at least I'm honest about my shit. That's the difference between me and everybody else. People wanna pretend that they're humble people, but and then they wanna be snobs at things. And it's just like, stop lying. Just like embrace your inner piece of shit and be more upfront about it. But people love to pretend that they're nice people to then turn around people's backs and be shitty behind their backs. I'm a motherfucker that's gonna be shitty to your fucking face, bitch.
That's a
But I'm also
fact.
gonna be but I'm also gonna be wild dope and wild good, good-hearted human being about wild things. So it's just like at least I'm honest and real. Like most people are just fake as fuck. Anyway, moving on. Lewis Hamilton got fourth place at the Monaco Grand Prix last week. I'm sad. My man Lewis Hamilton's having another rough year. I really needed more first places from him. But it's just like, yo, listen, honestly, the truth is he had, like I said, he won like 10 years in a row, which has never happened in Grand Prix in Formula One history. Like he's got a record that nobody's gonna be able to break more than likely. Like he's
Right.
got a record that you know what I mean? Like is ridiculous. So like if he doesn't win any more championships in what's left of his career at this point, right? Because like when we say you won 10 championships, so you already been doing this for a decade. So like you and that doesn't include you not winning championships when you first came in. So it's a decade plus. You know what I mean? Like he's like 14 years into his fucking career. Sarah's saying in the comments he has to get used to his car. Sis, this is his second year with this car. You got to be used to it already. But really, the truth is that she is right. I am right. We're both right, right? Like it's only his second year is what another way of looking at it. You know what I mean? Like it's only his
I
second
don't know how long it takes to get used
car,
to a car.
and these cars get adjusted race by race. She's saying, "No, we're both huge Formula One fans." She wakes up early morning on Saturday and Friday, Sundays to watch. Like she watches like the pole position races the day before. I don't watch those. I just tune into the actual Grand Prix races. She said it's not the same car. They switched parts, and he says he's adjusting. That's what I meant, sis. Like
Yeah.
it's the same car as last year with new parts, but that happens race by race, actually. You know what I mean? Like race by race, they have to adjust these vehicles because they have to adjust to each track. So like
And like
it's
weather
always
climates and all that shit.
right. And so it's always an ever evolving vehicle. So he's never gonna, it's always gonna be an evolving vehicle. So like I am right, like it's your second year with it, but she is right too. It's only his second year with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yo, it sucks, man. Fuck. What else can I say? The Denver Nuggets beat the Miami Heat in the first game of the NBA Finals. So the Nuggets are up 1-0. I think last night was the second game. I'm not sure, man. It's looking like the Nuggets going to walk away with it. LeBron James is out. The Knicks are out. Man, I don't really give a fuck anymore. I don't give a fuck about none of these young guys have grabbed my heart enough. Like one
Right.
of these young guys, Sarah, is hugely in tune. She's a huge ball family fanatic. She loves Lonzo Ball. She loves all the ball kids. I'm not a big fan of the ball kids like that, and I'm not a big fan of Jokic or a bunch of these young cats. They still haven't won me over. Like I'm still waiting for one of them to come out and be like yo, bro. I'm the Drake of this era. I'm the
Mm,
Travis Scott of this era. I'm the
mm,
Jay-Z of this era. I'm the Rakim of this era. I'm the Muhammad Ali of this era. I'm the Jordan. I'm the Dr. J. I'm the LeBron James. I'm the Kobe. I am the guy of this era. None of them have done that yet. None of them have said back to back championships, back to back going to take to the finals, back to back proving that I've got the focus to be a top dog. They're all just proving that they're younger and healthier and more athletic than LeBron James, which LeBron James is now like 14, 15 years into his career. Of course, you're more athletic than him. He's an old man at this point. Listen, man, LeBron James is going to win a ring next year. I'm really sad he didn't win one this year. I want him to get five before he goes out. But more than anything, I want him to be able to play with his son before he retires because that's what he
mm.
wants. And I always want what my favorite people want for themselves. That's why I want all the things that you want for yourself, Holden. Same as I want all the things that Sarah wants for herself. I'm super happy for her that she's in Vegas right now. She's been looking
That's
forward
really
to this
cool.
for a wild minute. She hadn't gotten a vacation in a second. She's been working so hard. She deserves it. She's a fucking champion. She's the woman, the man, the god, the illest motherfucker, same as you're the illest motherfucker. And anybody who got a fucking problem with that, come check me, knock on my door, and get shot with a fist.
With a
Anyway,
fist.
moving on to the next topic.
I don't know
Shot
what
with a
the next
fist.
topic is.
Shot
It
with a
just
fist.
says
Shot with a
family or
fist.
not family anymore, and I'm like, I don't know
Yo,
what that means.
you
I don't even
gotta
know who
you
we're
gotta
talking
press
about.
the link, Holden. This is my topic to fucking talk about family or not family anymore. Dun dun dun. We find out that Offset and Quavo are not blood related and are
What?
like just
So it was
friends.
recently revealed that Offset is not actually related to Quavo or Takeoff. Hey, it's Asia Sky here for Hip Hop DX, and check this out. So Offset is not actually related to his former Migos members Quavo or Takeoff, despite many fans believing so since the group's inception. Offset sat down for an in-depth cover story with Variety that was published on May 24th, and while he didn't discuss Migos much due to his ongoing legal battle with quality control, a small note about his lack of biological relation to the group has left some fans confused. The Variety article read, he was classmates with Quavo, the third member of the Migos, and began hanging out with him and Takeoff when Offset was in 6th grade. While Quavo was Takeoff's uncle, the two were just 3 years apart in age, and although Offset is often referred to as Quavo's cousin, they're actually not biologically related. In response to this revelation, one fan tweeted, so near a decade of folks writing about the Migos all being family is not true. At least the Offset Quavo cousin.
Oof, that's big. It's a big update.
I tell you this, it definitely is like, oh, okay, so that explains like the breakup a little bit more because, I mean, it doesn't, but it does, like they're not family. So there can be a break between Offset and Quavo. In related news, there's another link right there underneath
Yeah,
it.
I see that. I'm loading it up now.
One of these days we'll get Holden on point, folks. Don't you worry about it.
Yeah, I'm
Alleged killer
multitasking.
Patrick Xavier Clark has been formally charged with murder. Hey, what's up? I'm A-Dub, and check this out. So the Harris County District Attorney's Office in Texas told KHOU 11 that Clark was officially indicted on murder charges on Thursday, May 25th by grand jury. As of this video, no further details have been released about the indictment, and it is unclear whether the Harris County District Attorney will make a motion to seek capital punishment, as Texas is a death penalty state. It is also unclear whether Clark was eligible for bond after the indictment. Clark was originally released on $1 million bond back in January following his arrest for the death of the late rapper. As part of his bond agreement, Clark had to wear an ankle monitor and remain at his parents' home in Houston while also avoiding contact with Takeoff's family. His bond was originally set at $2 million before his legal team successfully negotiated to reduce it by half, claiming the figure was unconstitutional because he was unable to afford it. His attorneys requested a further reduction to $300,000, but their motion was denied. Judge Josh Hill ruled that previous statements made by Clark in a jail phone call indicted that he could pay $1 million bail. Police previously announced that the deadly shootout occurred after a lucrative dice game, to which Takeoff was an innocent bystander, outside 810 Billiards and Bowling in Houston turned violent. But Shotty from Wildin' Out, who appeared as a guest on the Ugly Money podcast back in January, claimed that he spoke to one of Takeoff and Quavo's cousins and was told the bickering began after Quavo believed the men he was gambling with had rigged the dice.
And this is all, this is all secondhand information, y'all.
All right.
This is not, I had to say.
They're like, we don't need the secondhand information.
We don't need secondhand information. Yeah. Hopefully he's convicted. Hopefully he gets a long, lengthy sentence, bro. You took away somebody we all love. And I don't wish jail on no man, but I also feel like, yo, you put out fucked up energy in the world, you should get it back. And you killed somebody, and you should sit your ass in that jail for a while. Moving on. Rick Ross versus DJ Envy, the car show debacle of the year, of the decade, of the century.
This is not one of those car shows where you come and if you win, they give you the $50 plastic trophy and you go home. No. This is where you get the network, really boss up the chains and the keys that I'm giving you. This is damn near 6 figures that I'm gonna put.
Oh, so someone wins a prize?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we got big boys coming from out of the country.
Right.
From all over the, in the U.S.
Right.
So it's gonna be a real huge event.
How many cars do you think you're gonna have?
Oh man, I'm not even sure, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure how many cars. I know we expecting close to 7,000 people.
Damn. Wow. And this is your second year doing this?
Second year. And really it just began out of the love.
Last year was amazing.
It began out of the love.
It was amazing.
Wasn't you and Envy battling at one point?
Nah, Envy was never on my level to battle.
He's battling.
No, I wouldn't do that to Envy. I rock with Envy. This is not...
So that's the first thing.
So, and then and DJ Envy, of course, responded with his typical beige rage, and
Got it.
We have not heard the end of it on New York radio.
I love you, Poppy.
That's him dressing up as a police officer, mocking Rick Ross,
Oh,
calling him, and he started doing this weird, doofy, like, oh, imitating Rick Ross's voice, but like it sounds crazy. Yo, DJ Envy is fucking embarrassing sometimes, bro. Like, I just don't understand him. I'm embarrassed for him just because I'm on Earth, and I'm like, why are you a human being too? Like, you should be a different species. You should be something else. You should be a dolphin or a fish. I don't
like,
want you the same race as me, and
I
I don't
just,
mean like ethnicity race. I mean human race. I don't want you to be a human with me. I want you to be a different species of animal because you're so embarrassing. God.
I'm just not sure, like, at this point, why people are still trying to goof on Rick Ross. Like, that man is just proven on every level. He's a good lyricist. He's a good hit producer. He manages to make pretty much every venture he does successful. Like, honestly, I remember being a Rick Ross hater, and then over the years, I feel like this guy just humbled the fuck out of me. I was
It's
younger,
crazy.
because
It's
I was
crazy
younger and sillier.
the flip, right? Where like when Rick Ross first came out, I have a freestyle on my demos on Bandcamp over Rick Ross's Every Day I'm Hustling, because I did a song called Every Day I'm Smoking Pip.
I
It's
love that
just
song now. I listen to that song all the time.
what song?
Every day I'm
Oh, Every Day
hustling.
I'm Hustling. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so, but like that goes to show you that like that even back then, like I was fucking with hustling heavy. Like I loved Rick Ross from like off rip. But yeah, man, they're going back and forth. They're beefing. They're You know what, man? I don't want to spend too much more time on this because there's a theme in the next topic. Kendrick Lamar and Keem are subbing Drake.
Mm,
I'm not sure, but you got the link to the
yeah,
video,
I'm loading it.
and um, they can give us more information. Uh,
So Kendrick
I'll,
Lamar and Baby Keem are accused of biting Drake on a new song called The Hillbillies. Hey, what's up? I'm A-Dub, and check this out. So Kendrick and Baby Keem released their
Come on,
latest collaborative
computer.
effort on Tuesday, May 30th, along with a video capturing them having fun traveling the world. Fans of the social media following its release claim they stole Drake's flow from his Honestly Nevermind track, Sticky, while pointing out the similarities in the song's beats.
Hey, yo, Eric, bring them girls to the stage, cause somebody's getting paid. Free bitch slime out the cage. Maxi, get them girls off the stage, cause somebody's gonna get taken, somebody's gonna invade on a one-on-one conversation.
Kendrick Lamar and Baby Keem used Drake's Sticky flow, and this is how it came out. One fan wrote on Twitter, while another said, yo, everyone effing with that new Kendrick. Now give Drake his credit for predicting dance music was the new wave, cause Hillbillies is just Kendrick's version of Sticky. Someone else said, Drake after listening to the new Kendrick and Keem song, next to a clip of Soulja Boy on the Breakfast Club yelling,
I be my whole fucking flow! Word for word, bar for bar!
One listener even claimed that Kendrick was not jacking his longtime rival, but clowning him, supporting their case by comparing K-Dot's lyrics to Drake's globetrotting bars on Middle of the Ocean. If Baby Keem's tweet is anything to go by, however, spoofing Drake's Sticky might have been the whole point of the Hillbillies. To promote the song, Keem posted a link to his video on Twitter with the caption, Baby Keem and Kendrick Lamar, the Hillbillies, Sticky Dub. On the track, Kendrick and Baby Keem go back and forth about fame, women, and designer clothes, while comparing themselves to soccer stars. But what do you think about this song from Kendrick and Baby Keem?
right. What? Go ahead, talk, Holden. Give us your thoughts.
Like, I heard the joint, and I did feel like there's an interpolation happening, but it felt more like a nod than like a diss. Like, there's like, it is very clearly that Kendrick listened to Sticky, like, obviously, but it doesn't feel like it diss. It's just like, I think, especially calling it a dub, right? Like, I just don't think a lot of people understand dub culture, Caribbean culture, or anything about music scenes outside of the Western world, where, like, paying homage is, like, a thing you do. Or if you look at Jamaican culture in general, right? Like, you're supposed to take other beats and do your version of the joint. Like, there's, like, entirely different philosophies in music. So I think this is just a bunch of people reading into something that isn't there. Like, it's just a joint they made, and it's like, I like the song. I was like, wow, this is like the airiest, like, I like the flow, I like the way it bounces. I'm like, I definitely don't feel no diss vibes in there. It does feel like they flexing, having fun, but I don't see how anybody's getting dissed on this.
All right. Well, you're not wrong that people don't understand Jamaican Caribbean dub culture, period. But you're also not probably fully informed, right? So like, look at Drake. Drake did a dub with Hotline Bling. Hotline Bling is a dub of Cha Cha, the Cha Cha Slide from Drum, right? And so dubs are a different thing in American culture. That's what ends up happening, right? Like the way that hip hop, we create hip hop here in the Bronx and in New York City, and then every place takes it and changes it up. In New Orleans, it's bounce. In Miami, it's bass, right? In Cali and LA, they got G Funk. So dub culture is different here in America because Drake gave Drum credit, but also like he wasn't dissing Drum on the record, but like he was dissing Drum outside of the record. And dub plates are used to diss each other. And there is like an energy on the like it's a sarcastic, facetious. Even Keem calling it a dub, right? Like it's almost like kind of taunting. And there's the thing is that Kendrick has had a history of like subliminally dissing Drake, and it goes back since the beginning after they first collaborated, right after Poetic Justice, and it's just been happening for a long time now. So like this falls in line with it. So like those are the facts I think you might be missing. That like I do think it is like it's a subliminal diss, but not like a overt, straight up disrespectful one. It's more like a jokey one.
Oh, it's more like I can do this too. That's what I feel from it.
It's not. Nah, I don't think so. It's way more like oh, this simple shit type shit. You know what I mean? Like, oh, because that's the thing with Drake is that it's always like, oh, we can all do what he does, but better. And that's what everybody's always upset about, right? Like Kendrick's like, I could do what he does, but better. I rap better. I could melody. I could hold the note better, right? Like J. Cole's like, I can sing about girls without doing the thing that Drake does better. Like everybody's like, I can do what Drake does, but better, but it's never better. Because if it was better, you'd sell more. You'd be better. You know what I mean? Like there's ways that I'm sure Kendrick thinks that he is better, and it's proven thanks to the accolades. Yeah, well, that goes in reverse. So Drake's accolades proves he's better than everybody. You know what I mean? And that's the way this always works, right? Like Eminem fans love to talk shit about like, oh, I don't even want to talk about sales, but then they end up always going to the fact that he's the highest selling rapper of all time.
That's it.
You know what I mean? But then it's like, but that's the truth. Then, you know, being richer than Eminem counts for Jay-Z. You know what I mean? Like Jay-Z is literally richer than Eminem, so that counts towards him being a better rapper. Because now we're counting things that nobody wants to count. Especially when it's a fact that really don't got shit to do with shit. You know what I mean? Like, because
it's also
the
like
white people that big up Eminem at record sales that are super Eminem fans and want to like fight that he's the best. What they're also not divulging is that they, like many other white people, were never big hip hop fans until Eminem. I just finished sharing a video from The Cut this week that was like, oh, what that I thought about jacking their topic for our topic of the week, but then I didn't. I was like, I'm better than this. And I didn't. But it was like, what song do you play? Like, what's your favorite song to play during sex? Was the question. And like one white girl was like Mac Miller, because he's got the softest, nicest rapping voice and flow. And I'm like, if that was true, Drake wouldn't have been laughed at and mocked for being soft his whole career, while literally nobody has ever mocked Mac Miller for being soft. Like, what are you talking about, lady?
Well, I'm just going to say on that point, nobody looked at Mac Miller and thought he was hard, whereas Drake did present himself like you.
Absolutely. I'm not saying that Mac Miller is hard, but also Mac Miller is not the soft. Like, what? Like, just say he's my favorite white rapper. I only listen to white rappers. It's ironic that when white people mention rappers, they always mention a white guy. And it's just like, and it'd be a white guy, and it's just like, how did that happen? What? Like, were you listening to hip hop at all as a whole? Or was it just this
made
one
like
guy?
Yeah, it's more that one guy, like Mac Miller.
The one guy that got your attention.
And that's because they all do different festival circuits and shit. So it's like, oh, I saw Mac Miller at this place. Or college or whatever.
Don't mention things that have to do with hip hop. You know what I mean? Because it's offensive to everybody else who actually, like, we built the culture up. We built the whole culture that within it has a genre. You know what I mean? Like, please don't disrespect our shit. You know what I mean? But then again, you know, what does it matter? Feel free to. Go ahead, I guess. You know, they already do. But like, it's really just the silly shit. And that's my point that I'm trying to make. It's the same thing with Eminem fans. They weren't hip hop fans. They just were Eminem fans. So that's why his sales are so much more inflated. You know what I mean? There's so many more people that came into the hip hop bandwagon with Eminem because it was like, well, whatever. Before that, I didn't feel included. There was no my representation. But it's like, this isn't a thing about representation for us, right? Like, as much as it's a thing about good or bad, because you've had representation throughout the history of hip hop, right? Like, historically, there's always been a lot of representation all around the board, right? Because you got Black Americans, you got Black Americans from all over the country, you got Jamaicans, you got Haitians, you got Puerto Ricans. You got, so we're touching on so many ethnicities.
No, but even beyond that, like, literally, they got the Beastie Boys from Jump. Like, I mean, you got MC Search.
There were white people before the Beastie Boys, and this is the point, right? Is that white people have also been included from the beginning. So it's just like white people
everybody
have been here. It's just there wasn't
Eminem,
the one, and there wasn't the one that was on a major record label at the right time when hip hop was really already like catapulting itself as the culture, as the genre of a generation and the voice of a generation. Eminem came out at perfect
his
time.
absurdity just happened to match the popular comedy trends at the time, and it was like this safe, approachable thing. He was like the scary movie of rap, if you really think about it objectively. Like, his like Without Me's and all that, it was like Scary Movie and all this shit. So like safer and more approachable.
Yeah. And the point being, right, is that like, well, we were already here. We were already here. We were gonna buy Eminem's records. He was gonna sell well on his own with us. It's when you add people who didn't give a fuck about us until Eminem came around that makes his numbers inflated. So to say that he's the best because of his record sale isn't really like, that doesn't really make sense. That's not the way that we judge being the best in this culture.
Also, like, it's not, if you really want to talk about being the best, it's not exactly like all his music is aging as well as everyone thought it would, to be honest with you. I feel like even Kanye's music aged really well, as an example, like, just as a comparison point. So if we're talking about like,
Kanye's early music is like the thing that people hyper focus on, right? Because like, he's presently putting out stuff. So like, people aren't focusing on like, yo, Donda was so amazing, because Donda just came out a couple years ago. So people still have another 8 years to go, so that in 10 years, people could be like, oh my God, Donda was amazing, and it's still fucking amazing, right? But like, what people are realizing right now in his career, because he's 10 years in, is like, oh my God, College Dropout was fantastic. Oh my God, 808s and Heartbreak. Like, it's between College Dropout to 808s that people are focusing right now, hyper focused with Kanye, because like,
even like, I think Jesus was crazy. But anyway, but like, I have to say, like,
what I lived through the whole time, because I think Donda is his best album. The point that I'm really trying to get to, right, is that like, Eminem isn't the best because of that. These accolades sometimes aren't the reason to say that somebody is the best. It's the overall thing. Drake is the best because he's the best at everything. It's because he is the one working the hardest. It's because he wants it the most. So yeah, you get to be number one when you want it the most, right? so like it's one of those things where like I'm focusing on it actually right now because the next topic is like focusing on it more, which is like, the Tupac docuseries we reported on. By the way, I wanna keep on like harping on the things that we do touch on here because there's so many things that we could be doing. We could be doing political news. We could be doing tech shit. We could be doing podcast news of the week. Literally, that's what we could be doing for a whole 2 hours.
Yeah.
Is just covering all podcasts. We actually started doing that, technically speaking, when we first started this show, right? We were essentially covering No Jumper and Joe Buttons and all the. But it just so happened to be very big podcast drama in the hip hop podcast world, and I'm a hip hop guy, and I do like to make sure that like it's in everything that I do, and I do believe that you are like essentially at this point consider yourself a hip hop guy as well, right? Like, so it's one of those.
I'm at least a fan of the culture. I enjoy the news.
I mean, I wouldn't be upset at you for saying that you're, exactly that. Like this is what you dedicated yourself to mostly now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I would say like I try to participate and I try to contribute to it. I try to add to the greater good of it.
You haven't disrespected the house that you're in, and that's a good thing. You know what I mean? I'll definitely be one of those first people that hit you the minute that I see you not respecting the house for sure.
I take that really seriously though, because we did the album reviews, and like when we started, some of them early album reviews were very
I'm not
very white.
I'm serious. Like if you ever cross the line, I'm going to be the first person because everything that you're doing, like everything that you're doing, reflects on me right now.
Of course,
you know what I mean?
And I expect to be.
And everything that I do reflects on you. You know what I'm saying? And it's just nothing that I'm doing is reflecting poorly. You know what I'm saying? Like my opinions are gonna upset your friends, but hey, you know what I mean? My opinions upset my friends. So
That's
get in line.
But like also, I just recognize that there are times where like you get caught up in your head and you think you're doing the right thing, and then you listen to maybe the wrong YouTube video that puts the wrong whatever, and you do step out of line. And it's just important to know that when you get checked, to recognize it for what it is. Nobody's gonna nobody's shooting you with a fist for that. But
you fist for that.
But you would get maybe a stern talking to, and as long as you respond appropriately and you most importantly don't repeat the stupid actions, you are then in a fine place usually, yeah. As long as you're not too egregious.
Right. And so
anyway.
We covered the Tupac docuseries. We didn't speak about this, but I've had it on my list to speak about, which is the Biggie docuseries, helmed by Iconic Records.
No, we did. We touched on it. One of them.
Oh, we did touch on it.
We did, yeah.
Right. So Angie Martinez is doing a Biggie docuseries at the same exact time that the Tupac docuseries that Alan Hughes was doing on.
Biggie's dead because Pac lied. You know what I'm saying? If he doesn't lie, we don't have an East Coast, West Coast beef. We don't have, like, he's dead because he lied.
Give me the lie.
He said that Biggie set him up. You know Biggie didn't set you up. You know he didn't set you up. You know that he didn't know you was coming to the studio. You know that. Why would you say that? You know, you're 1,000% sure. Why would you say that? That is the reason why they took our mans from us. Because one lie.
You think it was a lie or a misunderstanding?
No, it was a lie. And he knew that. He knew it had nothing to do with Biggie, 1,000%.
Then why do you think he said that?
And then that's it. That's all you get.
Right. That's all you get. Right. So, like, I had this written down as, like, the Tupac and Biggie docuseries, respective docuseries, are kicking up dust in an old beef. As you can see from that clip right there, we had DJ Clark Kent, who was a part of Biggie's career, talking about that, and that clip has been going viral for sure. I've been seeing it all over the place. It's like the Shellyne thing, where it's just like there's not one video that has like, oh, this one video has 20 million views.
Right.
It's just,
it's one of those, you see it everywhere.
20 million videos with 100,000 views or 20. You know what I mean? Like, it's just all over. I see it on everybody's page right now. And so, yeah, it's kicking up dust in the old beef. There's a conspiracy theorist set of tweets that I saw that I was like, yo, you know what?
I have it open. So, let's debunk this old fairy tale. 1, Pac took Big under his wing, made him popular. Big blows up with Puff, then does not even mention Pac and runs with Pac's style. Obsession with death, female radio singles. 2, Tupac gets shot. Biggie drops Who Shot Ya? Bad timing, but it was dropped for controversial reasons. Bad thing to do. Pac is in jail at the time. Pac never said Big set him up. He wanted more info from Big about the shooters, and Big played the middle because he was cool with both parties. When Big rolled the dice on Dead President's video, he blew the dice and whispered, "Who shot ya?" They also in the video mentioned taking over Cali in a Monopoly game with real cash. Then after Pac was killed, instead of letting the tension die out, Big's single was going back to Cali, almost a victory lap, antagonizing Pac's death. Also, Big dissed Pac all over his double album, and then went to Cali and did a freestyle that took shots at Pac, antagonizing him in LA. While being in LA, he was assassinated hours later.
Hold on, now go back. All right, so boom, let me attack each point. Go back to Tanap. Let's see, number one. Number one is right.
Pac.
So, like, Pac took Big under his wing, made him popular. Big blows up with Pac. That's like total false narrative. He did not make him popular. Big was already popular. That's why Big even got cool with Tupac. Like, how did Tupac? Like, what? Tupac is just like this super genius that's just like, I'm gonna. Or he was hanging out on fucking St. Mark's where Biggie, or like, nah, bro, like, not at all. Like, Biggie was already out moving and shaking, and Pac fucked with him because he was cool, because everybody fucked with Biggie. So it's not like Pac, like, really, like, that took him under the wing is like, that's a big, like, reach. And then does not even mention Pac is not true. Biggie mentioned Pac a bunch of times and being cool with Pac a bunch of times. And then runs with Pac's style is like, I mean, if you're saying obsession with death and female radio singles is a style, then I guess he can be accused of stealing his style, but that's not a style. A style is like, Method Man's style is METHOD, man, METHOD, hey, you get off my ground. That's a style. It's like, that's a style / flow, right? Like, a style can be like your style of rapping and the way that you go about it, right? With your flow and your hand gestures, your body, everything. This is your style, right? So, like, I don't know what he means by, like, linking style with obsession with death and female radio. It's like, bro, like, niggas make songs about dying because we see so much death around us that, like, what else I talk about what I've been through. So, like, yeah, I guess I got an obsession with death because I have a song called If I Died. And female radio singles, it's like, bro, niggas want to get bitches. But, like, okay, whatever. That's not the way that the industry worked at all. Like, the industry worked like the Puff picked the singles. So Biggie had nothing to do with this. So Biggie didn't do anything about that. If you'd have left it up to Biggie, his career, his singles wouldn't have been Juicy, Big Papa, One More Chance. It'd have been fucking like Suicidal Thoughts, Unbelievable. Like, bro, that's not it at all. Biggie didn't get to have, so Biggie didn't do anything to Tupac. Tupac gets shot, Biggie drops, who shot you? Bad timing. Yes, bad timing. That's it. And really, what it is just Puff taking advantage of a situation, and yeah, making it look like whatever. About the shooters and played Big. Big played the middle because he was cool with both parties. Yeah, he was cool with both parties, and like he told Tupac not to fuck with Haitian Jack, and Tupac still fucked with Haitian Jack. So it's like at this point, you shot motherfucker. Oh well, like what you want me to do? What you want me to tell you where he lives? Like nah, bro. Figure it out for yourself. You a big man pumping when I told you not to hang out with him, and you still hung out with him. So keep the big man pumping thing going. Pac never said Big set him up. He wanted more info. All right. But when Big rolled the dice, come on. When Big rolled the dice, bro, like yo, it could be anything. Like you're saying because you can't hear the words, right? You're saying he said, right, which is like that could be like all sorts of words, bro. It could be like it could be a whole bunch of words that he's saying. Like if you don't read lips, you should refrain from like trying to guess games at people like mouthing things. They also in the video mentioned taking over Cali in a Monopoly game with real cash. Bro, everybody like there's a thing later on in all these tweets where like dude is like Biggie perpetuated this beef by shouting out Brooklyn so much, which is just like, bro, what the fuck at the reach of like, so people can't shout out where they're from because taking pride in where you're from offends people who are not where you're from and it's telling them that they suck because they're not from where you're from. Instead of it just being that you're shouting out your home because nobody's saying shit when NWA is coming straight out of Compton. It's literally what everybody does where they're from. You say where you're from. That's part of rap shit. You know what I mean?
Yo,
like
and if you don't, it looks weird, and people are like, "Why don't you talk about where?" Yo, I had to start rapping about Montreal because at a certain point I realized I never talked about where I'm from.
Weird. You're
super
like
not repping the team.
You look like an NPC rapper. Like, what are you doing? Like, what is that?
It's like it's a team sport, and your city's your team, so run it.
Yeah, city is your team, absolutely. So it's just like, yo, it's just a lot of absurdities that he's reaching for. But there are also a lot of things that I actually think are like, yo, you know what? I never thought about that. And you know what? I think Biggie was dissing. Like, listen, if you leave it up to me, up to before I saw these tweets, I would tell you Biggie never dissed Tupac. The only thing Biggie said about Tupac was, if Faith have twins, she probably have two Pacs. Get it? Two Pacs, which was just like, okay, like that is very obviously talking about Tupac, and like, it's not a diss to Tupac. It's like, yeah, I guess you fucked my bitch, bro. Like, you know, which, you know, Tupac made it known, like, right on like, that's why I fuck your bitch, you fat motherfucker. I'll hit him up. So it's like, Biggie was just like, if anything, bigging you up more, right? Like, that was not a diss. So, like, if you left it up to me, I would say that Biggie never dissed Tupac. But after these tweets, I was like, holy shit. Biggie
I mean, I did review the second album, and I can't quote nothing, but when you really look at all the little genius notes and shit, you're like, oh, I can see how some of this was maybe disses.
Yeah. So like, let's keep going. Let's move on. I won't let's not even read each tweet because this is a lot of tweets. Biggie this E40 is like whatever.
I do remember that one.
Yeah, he did this 40, but like that had nothing to do with the Tupac beef, bro. Like,
right.
Let's all. Oh, you exited out.
No, I closed the thing because the next one is the question of the week.
Oh, you wanted to move on to the next. Okay.
Well, because you said we're moving on from the tweets, right?
No. I meant like moving
move on in the tweets.
In the
okay,
tweets.
my bad. I'm good.
Right.
So yeah, the next tweet's here. 6 Biggie dissed E40 and had tension with the West Coast.
That was like that really doesn't have nothing to do with the Tupac beef.
Biggie got on the radio and allegedly
yeah, he definitely did do that. He definitely
told NY dudes to not let DPG. That's Dogpound Gang, right?
Yeah, Dog Pound Gang. Let me tell you something. It's crazy being there, like being in the birthplace of hip hop for all the like early like the 80s and 90s moments in history. It's just like, bro, I was listening to the radio that day. I heard the whole thing. I can tell you from first hand account of like what it was. You know, it wasn't overt. It was very subliminal, which is like, yo, this makes sense for Biggie. Biggie was just like, yeah, yo, you know, Snoop Dogg, Dog Pound shoot a video in Brooklyn, shouts to them, you know, and said some other slick shit like, you know, because, you know, it's soft out there, something like that. Or like, you know, like he antagonized Brooklyn to like go do something. And then they went and did something. They shot up the fucking music video shit. This is all tension before Pac is even on death row. They're both riding on Big initially. Then Snoop decides to squash the Biggie beef, so Pac is upset with Snoop because he feels that. But I mean, bro, like this doesn't have nothing to do with Biggie, man. No. You know what I mean? That's like a Snoop thing, and it's just like, yo, it goes to show you how like Pac was the one that was wilding, when even his allies were like, "You're going too far, man. You gotta chill out."
No, that's the next tweet. I'm just expanding it.
Wait, what?
Because it's just this is the next one, and then I just went to the next tweet.
No, I was talking about in reference to the topic that I was talking about. I wasn't talking about tweets at all. I'm talking about like the topic of Dog Pound and that him sending. You know what I mean? Like I'm waving that off. Like
right,
whatever.
Right. My bad.
Yeah, take it easy, man. Okay, keep on going. Keep on going. Tupac addressed who he felt set him up and shouted he did, and he does in these lyrics. Let's go to those lyrics real quick.
Knew is working for the Fed, same crime. Picture what he said, and did I mention promise to pay back Jimmy Henchman in due time?
Let me just hit the lyrics. That way, like we could.
It'll go quicker. I'm like, there's a lot of words here. I'm trying not to say.
Knew he was working for the Fed. Same crime, different trials. Make a picture of what he said. And did I mention promise to pay back Jimmy Henchman in due time? I know you bitch niggas is listening. The world is mine. Set me up, wet me up. Niggas stuck me up. Heard the guns bust, but you tricks never shut me up. Touch one of mine on everything I love. I'll destroy everything you touch. Play the game, nigga. All out warfare. Eye for eye. Last words to a bitch nigga. Why you lie? Now you gotta watch your back. Now watch your front. He came, here we come, gunshots to tuck. Now you stuck, fuck the rap game, nigga, this MOB. So believe me, we enemies. I go against all odds. He's definitely not mentioning Biggie and Pac, and but this was addressed earlier, right? In like the point of like Pac, didn't say that Tupac and Biggie were responsible for the shooting. Right. He didn't. And for the people who were around back then who remember things, he didn't say that. And that was like a thing that, like the internet, like throughout years and word of mouth, shit just changes. And some dude who's like 20 tells a story to some dude who's like 13, and then that kid takes that shit as Bible, and he goes spreading into his whole school of other fellow 13-year-olds that don't know shit. And you know what I mean? That's how false information gets spread. We just dealt with the true tracks over feeling. Okay, whatever. Most Biggie. Okay, whatever. Keep on going. Next.
This is Biggie gets signed. Blah blah blah. Big Descendant gets signed. Then he drops "Who Shot Ya," and it was controversial.
Yeah, it's like whatever, man. Like, listen, this is something that, like, at the end of the day, like when we get to the Biggie disses, right? Like, I was reading this to my wife, and my wife was like, "Damn, man, Biggie was kind of mean." And I was like, "Man, fuck that. Like, what? The fuck does it matter?" Like, she was like, "Well, I mean, if they were friends," I was like, "I mean, friends like what?" Like, Biggie, if they were friends, this shit wouldn't have happened. You ask me, Biggie's friends were Little C's, D-Rock, Cesar De Janeiro. Like, what are we talking about? Like, looking at it from a perspective of like, oh man, Biggie did do all these disses to Tupac. He was antagonizing him. He's like, "And?" I'm like, "And? The fuck? Bro, it's a contact sport, bro. If you don't like it, tough noogies." Like, oh, he taught Biggie his style. Okay, so, and Biggie was more successful with it. What, you mad, bitch? You know what I mean? Like, what are we really talking about here? You know what I mean? Like, it sounds like a lot of whining when people talk about shit like that. Like, people talking about, like, things being unfair in life. And it's just, like, I don't give a fuck that life's unfair. Biggie was clearly more charismatic, sold more records, was easily, like, people wanted him to be a king. People, New York, we named Biggie king. Biggie didn't name himself king. You know what I mean? Like, we named him king. The streets named him king. The people named him king. The hip hop culture named him king. Like, you can't force us to name you king. And Tupac wanted clearly to force somebody to name him king. And it's like, bro, I don't give a fuck who the Black Panthers told you that you were gonna be the leader of the future, or who told you were gonna lead, like, or how many fans you ended up having posthumously that say that you're the greatest of all time. Like, yo, at the end of the day, like, this shit breaks down the record sales and the culture. And, like, if now you have more people, cool. But I remember at the time, you didn't have more people. And really the people running this shit at the time were New York. So we were the ones that got to dictate who, you know what I mean, was the king. And this was our king. So it's just like, I don't know, man. Like, being upset at Biggie for, like, oh, what if Biggie, you know, really, if that, it's like, what if Biggie wrote a bunch of songs for Tupac? Because Tupac, in his docuseries, like, it's coming to be known that, like, he got Keep Your Head Up from one of his boys, right? So, like, one of his biggest songs, he got the writing from his boy in a poem. So it's just like, okay, so Tupac didn't have a problem. He was like the first Drake, I guess. Tupac, yeah,
he was ghostwriters. That's what we're saying.
He was ghostwriters. So it's just like, okay, so then why do you think Biggie might have been around somebody like Tupac then? If Tupac was already signed and Biggie was a nobody that Tupac was helping out. Seems to me like Biggie was probably writing for him. Biggie probably didn't get any credit for that. You know what I mean? So it's like, yo, this shit could go in fucking reverse, bro. Like, people are not, it's a bunch of what if shit. Like, the same thing as the Who Shot You. Like, if you're not there and you can't play me audio of Biggie actually saying Who Shot You as he rolled the dice, that can be anything. You're just interpreting it as Who Shot You because that's what your brain wants it to be. Like, so you can't, until we, like, break down facts, we could break down ifs, ands, and maybes all day. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's just like, bro, like, nah, man, nah. You know, like,
honestly, though, I think we should move on from the topic just on time, but it is a truly big topic that we could always come back to because this is super interesting shit.
Yeah, nah, the disses that I wanted to get to were like pretty fucking amazing. Like, you know, Biggie saying as a kid, yo, good night, take time for you to die. Amazing. We're gonna come back to it for sure.
Yeah. Because it's really an interesting topic, so like I'm always into that kind of stuff, and it's pretty evergreen, and everyone's always going to be interested, but just given times and shit. So yeah, we have this week's topic that you want to come up with. So if you start.
So I didn't steal the Cut's topic, but I did steal a topic from the Cut, right? Which is like when they were asking people what's like your favorite song to play during sex. Right? Which, like, yeah, I had one when I was younger. Now it's just like whatever. But like, I didn't realize how many people like don't have sex with music playing at all or ever, and like,
yeah, no,
they're away from it, and it's just like weird. That's weird. Like, the Cut is an amazing channel, by the way. Shouts to the Cut. Check out their YouTube channel. I absolutely want to pump them. Like, I don't know who's behind them, but I do know that two guests of ours at Perspectives Podcast, Oh Blimey and Gifted Gab, both have been guests on there, and they're good friends with the staff there, and they offered me to be able to go on there. I'm definitely like of the sound mind and body that the next time that I'm on the West Coast near Seattle, I'm going to holler so that I can try to get on a Cut video because I love their channel that much. It's like Big Brother in the sense that, like, this is like, it shows more about the human psyche than you realize. You know what I mean? And so, like, that question for like birth this question, which is like, do you have sex with music on or off? Like, because apparently that might be a 50-50 split in the world.
No, it's probably a bigger split than you think, because like my answer is off, and it's because I don't know, like it's just never been like a thing. Usually it was some discreet shit or whatever, and you're trying to make as little noise as possible, and you're like hiding it. That's how early sex was for me, right? So like the first few years, but there wasn't no like play the music. It was more be as quiet as possible, or like, you know, you had the TV on or something. But like that was the first few years, and then it's just like music just never became like a part of it. Now I have had sex with music on, but never good choices. Like, let me tell you something.
No, wait. Good
J. Cole's not good sex music, is what I learned.
No, absolutely not good sex music, right? But hold on, because before you, like, you want to jump, like, this is you're not meaning right now. Like, you got to hold on, pump the brakes, right? Like, hold on. Before we even get to good choice musically, were they good sexual choices? Were they good sexual encounters? When you did end up having music playing, like, fuck whether the music was good or not.
No, sex was bomb, but so what happens is I don't really notice the music when I'm in the vibe. Like, it's like it's almost like I don't really like I don't need that to get there. So it's just like,
and then nobody needs music to get there.
I mean, that's not even true. I've been with some girls who needed that music to get there. So you know what? That's probably where my that's definitely where all the sex in my music is coming, is when girls needed that shit.
Girls needed.
So
when girls back then,
well, ladies, young women,
young women, when you were a young man.
Yeah.
Right.
So like those people that I formerly fornicated with that required music would play music. So I guess it was never really my preferences, so I never thought about it. It's just never been a priority. It's not really a huge priority for Bonnie, evidently.
Work. So Bonnie as well is a music offer kind of.
I mean, listen, it's just more how it goes.
Definitely,
like the moment kicks in, it kicks in.
Definitely when you're having sex, like somewhere crazy. It's like, who the fuck has time for music when I'm having sex with you? Maybe when you're young and I'm in your parents' crib and they're sleeping in the next room, or like some other crazy shit like that. Like, like what? There's no music that we're playing here. And definitely no music when you're like, oh, let's fucking fuck behind those trees over there in the park and shit. Or whatever. Right?
That's
like you're like nobody's like, oh, let me make sure. Like, imagine back in like 2010 doing some shit like that, or like 2000, right? Like when we don't have like the speaker on the iPad. What were they called? iPods didn't even have a speaker.
No speakers. You were lucky if you had that little extension.
Like what, boombox? Like, who cares about music at a time like this? You know what I mean? But then there's also like, times when like, I know it's about to be lit, Netflix and chill, shorty coming through. This is before Netflix exists. I don't gotta write. Like, the game was like, set the mood. You know what I mean? Like, come into the mood, mama. Like, you coming into the crib. There's some like, Jodeci playing. There's some like fucking Casey and JoJo playing. You know what I'm saying? Some motherfucking, oh yeah. Some good fucking sexy time music that's talking about sexy time type of shit. And, it makes it like, this is the ambiance you're walking into. That's the same thing as like, when you walk into my house back then, right? Like, oh, in my parents' crib, you're coming, we're best buddies, right? We're in junior high school together, Holden. Oh, wow, we're fucking 12 again. Yay, right? Like, you coming to pick me up because we're going to school together, bro. You fucking live on the way to school, right? Like, you're coming into my crib and you're coming to, I'm setting the mood in the morning time, right? Like, this is what I'm doing, right? Like, this is part of like me being from the Bronx, me being Afro-Latino, and this being a part of like our culture, Caribbean culture, South American culture, Latin culture, Black culture, like music being in the home, especially in the mornings. Getting ready, we getting dressed, it was hip hop on. Mama Said Knock You Out. When that came out, like I remember fucking getting dressed to I'm Too Sexy for a while long, but like there's music playing, right? So there's music. I'm setting a mood. If you come over in the morning and I'm playing fucking Offspring, I'm setting a mood. Every type of music sets a mood. You know what I'm saying? And there's an energy behind that mood. You know what I'm saying? So like if you come over and it's fucking you know, Offspring or fucking Nirvana or fucking Metallica, right? Like those are three different moods, but they all are a certain type of energy to their mood, right? Fucking rock and roll shit, right?
I was just like, yo, I'm gonna say though, those are things that if I think about my dating life, maybe not the sex part, but the pre-sex part, that sounds like the soundtrack to that shit. Sing-alongs to all of that bullshit.
Yeah, and I mean, right. So like, look, music. That's how you know that. Like, this is why it's like, yo, this is crazy that there's even a divide like this, and that there's people that have sex without music. Because it's like, think about strip clubs, bro. Like, even when like I'm talking about strip clubs, the difference between black ones and white ones is really just the music and the energy that you put behind it. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, both have music playing. It's just white people be bugging the fuck out and asking women to dance to fucking
AC/DC.
AC/DC and fucking
like
Arrow.
What? Like what? And all this hair shaking.
Like, oh wow, man! I hear you. Yeah, they're just like this.
Like, what? No, I follow this one stripper, like on her stories, and like she talks wild shit, so it's highly entertaining. But like whenever the music plays, I'm like, hold up, this is what you dance to? It's like Thunderstruck by AC/DC, and I'm like, I didn't know that was like. And then it was like, I'm like, yo, that's like my parents' sex music, I guess.
She might be into it.
She definitely in some white Western Canada clubs.
White Western Canada clubs, yeah, man. Yeah, it's one of those things where like, yo, it's different, but right, like check it, the vibes, right? So that's my point. And then like, look, there's hip hop that's like, look, I put on fucking DMX. Yo, it's like, yo, we used to put on DMX, Mobb Deep to do exactly what you think, which is fucking be tough guys. You know what I mean? Like, yo, we gonna fucking roll on these motherfuckers. Like, yo, put on some fucking Mobb Deep, son. Like, get me in my fucking right state of mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, every music has a energy to it.
That's facts.
And so like the back strip clubs, the energy is don't stop, pump that pussy, don't stop, pump that pussy, don't stop, pump that pussy, don't stop, pump that pussy. And it's like, yo, that's the vibe. And so like if you come over to my crib and this is what the vibes is gonna be. You know what I'm saying? So if you're coming over to the crib to Netflix and chill, before Netflix and chill exists, I'm going to have some smooth R&B fucking playing that's gonna be talking about sex, because it's like, yo, this is the objective in mind, mama. Like, but it also plainly states without stating. It was subverted language, same as Netflix and chill is subverted language nowadays. You know what I mean? Like, you tell somebody,
you put on that romantic comedy where the two hot people smash the whole movie.
No, people literally say Netflix and chill to each other.
I know.
So it's like, so
it's
if you're
become
saying
a
Netflix
colloquialism.
and chill to each other, it's a synonymous with fucking sex. Literally, it's like, hey, want to have sex? You know
it was
what I mean?
on Ellen DeGeneres. She brought it up, and the audience looked at her like she was dumb. Like, come on, Ellen, you just discovered this.
So the same way that people say Netflix and chill to say, hey, you want to have sex, is the same way we used to be like, come over, and when you came over, it was fucking Jodeci playing, and it was like, Jodeci is like, yo.
No, but I definitely would say I use movies to get laid way more, because when I got to that age, I was working at a video store, so I was the plug. Bro, for 3 years, it was like, what movie you want? Yeah, I got you. Send it back, and then that was it. Because this is before it was easy streaming. Girls wasn't knowing how to hack everything. So people would just wildly just take advantage of that. And it's crazy how far a free movie would get you in life. Just sending out some rentals here and there.
Absolutely. Listen, as working street team promo, which is giving away CDs, T-shirts, and flyers, right, for artists, promo is like, women gave me pussy for fucking goddamn CDs, which is that could have been fucking $1.99.
Oh, you want that? You want that new Wii game for free? Play it for 3 days.
Yeah, yo.
Yeah. I did ask ChatGPT though.
To all those young ladies, thank you so much. Shouts to all the parents who like raise these gems of human beings, right?
Facts.
Like, thank you, yo. Thank you all around.
Big appreciation.
Thank you to all my friends that are gonna like breed the next generation of young ladies that give the next generation of young men those experiences.
So I did ask ChatGPT though, as we've been doing. So ChatGPT, of course, told me that it doesn't have personal experiences, but asked it to be average, and it said whether or not people play music during sex can vary greatly based on personal preferences. Of course, some people might enjoy it because they find it helps set the mood, as you just described, while others might find it distracting and prefer silence. It really depends on the people involved. Now, I can say, on that note of silence, that when you have the wrong thing on, such as the outro of J. Cole's 2014 hit, and that's playing while he's just listing names, and you're mid-stroke and you don't want to go hit pause, and you're just listening to J. Cole say names, you discover what the fuck bad music for sex is. Real anecdote. Anyway, trailer of the week.
I think the Lord Jesus that I've never listened to J. Cole even by mistake during sex. Moving on to the trailer of the week. Trailer of the week. I'm a Virgo. I think that's the name of it. I think it's called. I don't know. Just run the tape.
I'm running it. This motherfucker, you gotta adjust the speed.
Can I have 7 Bing Bang burgers, please? Be plenty more where that came from. Why you so damn big, bro? Heart, head, hands, feet. As long as I push, there's no defeat.
Get your mind right, half-wits.
As long as I push, there's no defeat.
Get your mind right, half-wits.
The world is not ready yet.
I just feel like I can't breathe in here.
We beat to rap what, key beat to lock, but we beat to rap what.
You never been out there? Just hit the sideshow with us.
Well, I'm a Virgo, and Virgos love adventure. We showing up with a giant.
Let's go. Welcome to Bing Bang Burger. What can I bop you with today?
I want to take my time and get to know her.
You just need to look her in the eyes and say, I want you.
I want you.
With your eyes, don't say that out loud.
People are gonna try to use you and put you on display.
You're the Messiah. You said you'd come from a desolate place.
I'm not from a desolate place. I'm from Oakland.
Yes, a desolate place.
When they can't use you no more, they're gonna try to get rid of you.
Measure threat level of the Twomp monster. I need the people to believe in me. When I take my helmet off, I need for my to pop.
So when y'all kicking it? Tonight.
Tonight?
The people love me.
You are a 13-foot-tall black man. They fear you. The whole thing has to be torn down.
Damn.
Spotlight. You're illegally trespassing.
How about this, mother?
I don't sound like none of y'all. I ain't got no giant.
I hadn't done a series yet. I'd always been doing movies. the main actor from this is the young man who was in, who was the star of the Exonerated 5 series, I believe.
Yeah.
Boots Riley is the director of I'm sorry something. Boots Riley is just like a great director. Man, I'm
That
really
looks fire. That looks really cool. And I have Amazon Prime, so it makes me more excited.
Word. Playing the songs of the week.
Yeah. This is
song
Flacko's song.
This is Sarah Connor's new song, new single.
Hey.
Mine's really made out of mess. I don't know my way out. I don't take no pills, I'm not crazy. But let me out. Let me know. Please let me go. Let my mind, let me know. I'm really stuck inside my mind. This mental circuit's real. I'm not crazy. I'm really about. One elephant in the room, gon' let this animal out. It's post-traumatic. You think average, I'm thinking savage. Sum up, subtract the casket. I'm crazy, loco, and drastic. Dramatic case in the basket. One tic-tac away from snagging. One Kwame away from banning and blocking and fucking snapping. Oh, y'all really don't get it. Y'all motherfuckers is a headache. Y'all really don't get it. Yo, motherfucker, matter of fact, listen. Double entendres on Tanya, double menages on Mama. So many times I've been on her, lining her up was an honor. Put zeros right behind commas. This set of Bush just is promised. The Mac, the Tech, and 2 llamas. That's what you get with Miss Connor. So Papa, coja con calma. Coja con calma. So Papa, coja con calma. Sigue coja con calma. Let me loose, let my mind, let me loose. Let me loose, let my mind, let me loose. I told you, I'm not crazy. Let me loose. I'm not crazy. Let me loose. I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. This is really who I am. You push that button, I'll body you where you fucking stand. I ain't a fucking stand. That's who the fuck I am. Let me loose. I'm not crazy. Let my mind, let me loose. I'm not crazy. Let my mind, let me loose. I'm not crazy. I'm crazy. And this has been brought to you by the finest bud that New York can offer.
Dope. That's a good giant.
Yep.
So, funnily enough, the name of the song that I'm playing today just happens to be Crazy. Is a homie Smoking Ink.
You're like, I am crazy, actually.
Got me a new glass.
Even though we play, it's really what we do.
What we do right.
Yeah, we really fuck with it.
All the time.
We been having fun with it.
Let's go.
This life been crazy.
life, this my passion, this my niche. So I ain't giving it up, I'm going beast mode. Yeah, name, you know the heat coming threefold. Smoking niggas on the level you can't reach, yo. The funny part, it's like a game for us. That's why we dangerous. Our flows be angel dust. We got you feeling for some more, you can't get enough. Ever since the top bins, things changed for us. Oh, damn, we ain't playing around, but at the same time, we be playing around. It's a passion, my ninja, we be bred for sound. Even if I try to stop, I can't hold it down, nah. So I'ma follow omens till I reach my goal. I'm on a mission to the top to change the world. So follow your passion cause it's obtainable. Never give up, you just gotta find your angle, y'all.
Even though we play, it's really what we do.
It's what we do, right?
Yeah, we really fuck with it.
All the time.
We been having fun with it.
Let's go.
This life been crazy. This is how we do.
It's how we do, right?
Yeah, we having fun with it.
All the time.
Yeah, we really fuck with it too. Pew, pew, pew. When we come through, never know what we gon' do. Ready, steady, shoot, shoot, shoot. I just hit a bag. Chauffeur wanna know why I got so much in the bag. Tell them the money's a joke, the real fun is life. Shit, I put that on my grade. Staying on top of the game, we don't know shame. People just pray for my game. Pop up the best for a drink. Got so many bands, I don't wanna think about it. Every night a party, we just making money doing what we love. Do what I love. They can try to stop me, but I can get it enough. I can get it enough. Even though we play, it's really what we do.
It's what we do, right?
Yeah, we really fuck with it.
All the time.
We been having fun with it.
Let's go.
This life been crazy. This is how we do.
It's how we do, right?
Yeah, we having fun with it.
All the time.
Yeah, we really fuck with it too. This life been crazy. We ain't fucking around. We ain't fucking around. Life been crazy, but we ain't fucking around.
Yeah, that's the homie smoking ink. So yeah, that brings us up to
That's
the
this week's show. Thank
what
you
we up
everybody
to.
for tuning in. What are you gonna be up to?
I'm about to go head off to Sherbrooke, Quebec, which is about 2 hours from Montreal, and I'm gonna go get paid to freestyle with a brass band. So that sounds like a great use of a Friday, and then possibly go to some party at a campground or some shit that we're talking country party vibes, different. Should be lit. But I'm gonna go try and pre-sell merch. Pull up, be like, yo, I'm gonna see y'all in a month. You know what I mean? Like, just drop the hint so that people want to get that shit when I pull up later on. So it might be worth doing. Sunday, Chris and I are performing, and then I start my new job proper on Tuesday. So then we figure out the new life. But I'm sure Saturday there's something. I'm sure, but I don't remember what it is yet. What about you?
I'm partying tonight. I forgot where. Supposed to holler at Heck Tech, and then tomorrow and Sunday and Monday I'm on job sites. I got like these bunch of jobs going on, got big new clients, and I got to schmooze and do the thing I do, make sure we keep getting business. So yeah, working this weekend. That's it.
Yeah, cool. Let us know what you're doing in the weekends in the comment too. Tell us about your week.
Tell us about your weekend. We want to hear about all of it in the comments. And don't forget to leave a like. And don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed yet.
And then hit up the Patreon. Patreon.com/perspectives. I'm working on this Patreon video. It's going to take a minute as I, learn about video editing properly, and it'll look fire because we filmed it in Times Square. So you're getting a Times Square video in the near future of Patreon stuff. Anyway, we taking this really seriously, so if you do want to support us and see us prosper and shit, that would be a great way to support us directly. We will be back in the future at a different live stream time, but we're going to figure out a way to make sure that this keeps coming because the show's fun to make. So definitely keep us posted. I know this one's a little bit shorter, but the last two were a little bit longer, so sometimes it'd be like that. Appreciate all of you that did tune in for the live. Shout out Sarah Khanna again. Happy birthday. Your song's fantastic. And shout out Aliyah watching this in the future. And live long and prosper, everyone.